What is the Israel-Palestine dispute? Why does Hamas keep firing rockets? Thousands of rockets were fired at Israel from the Gaza Strip early Saturday morning. The dispute between Israel and Palestine is not new. First of all, we understand about its geographical location. Actually, two different areas exist in the eastern and southwestern parts of Israel. In the eastern part, there is the West Bank, and in the southwestern part, there is a strip known as the Gaza Strip. Thousands of rockets were fired at Israel from Gaza Strip in the early hours of Saturday. And with this, the war started because Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made it clear to the public that we are at war. The dispute between Israel and Palestine is not new. Even in the year 2021, a war-like situation had arisen between the two countries. Both countries had fired indiscriminately at each other. A similar scene was seen once again in the early hours of Saturday. Hamas fired thousands of rockets from the Gaza Strip, while Israel also retaliated. In such a situation, let us know what the Israel-Palestine dispute is. What is the controversy? The dispute between Israel and Palestine is not new. First of all, we understand about its geographical location. Actually, two different regions exist in the eastern and southwestern parts of Israel. In the eastern part, there is the West Bank, and in the southwestern part, there is a strip which is known as the Gaza Strip. Only the West Bank and Gaza Strip are considered Palestine. However, the West Bank is governed by the Palestine National Authority, and the Gaza Strip is controlled by Hamas, an anti-Israel extremist organization. Hamas does not consider Israel a country, even though the Israeli Prime Minister is saying that we are at war and warning Hamas of facing consequences. Hamas does not care at all and is continuously firing. In fact, Hamas does not see Israel as a country and keeps targeting it, whereas Israel and America consider Hamas an extremist organization. They also intend to destroy Hamas. Palestine is an Arab and majority Muslim-dominated area where the population is approximately 2 million. After the year 1947, the United Nations voted to divide Palestine into Jewish and Arab states, after which the first conflict between Arabs and Jews took place on March 6, 1948, and since then, till today, there has been a conflict between Palestine and Israel. Continuing, this dispute is more than 100 years old. After defeating the Ottoman Empire in the First World War, Britain established its control over this part of West Asia, which is known as Palestine. This was the period when Israel was not established, and the area from Westland to Gaza Strip was part of Palestine. Jews and Arabs used to live here. Gradually, the demand for creating a country for their own people began to arise between the Jews and Arabs, and the international community also asked Britain to establish Palestine for the Jewish people. On the other hand, the majority of Arabs were demanding the creation of a new country for their people named Palestine. This is the beginning of this controversy, which continues unabated. Even the British could not resolve the dispute between Palestine and Israel. For this reason, he left Palestine in its own condition in 1948 and went away from there. Jewish leaders together announced the establishment of Israel, which was strongly opposed by the Palestinians, and the neighboring Arab countries even attacked it. Amidst the war, many Palestinians had to leave their homes and most of Palestine was occupied by Israel. After the war, Jordan captured the West Bank and Egypt captured the Gaza Strip, while Israel established control over the western part of Jerusalem. Six-Day War of 1967. In the 1967 war, Syria intensified its bombing of Israeli villages in the Golan Heights, while Egypt mobilized its forces near the Sinai border and prevented Israeli ships from using the Gulf of Aqaba. In such a situation, Israel launched a sudden air attack on Egypt and destroyed the Egyptian Air Force. Israeli forces defeated the armies of Egypt, Syria, and Jordan, and captured the Sinai Peninsula, the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem. 1973 Yom Kippur War. The scars of war never fade away. That's why, in 1973, Egypt and Syria suddenly attacked Israel on Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the Jewish calendar. In the beginning, the Israeli army had to struggle a lot and suffered heavy losses, but the Israeli army ultimately pushed the Arab armies back. 1979 Egypt-Israel Peace Treaty. In 1979, Egypt and Israel understood that war is not the solution to any problem. In such a situation, a peace treaty was signed between the two countries, and with this treaty, the situation of war that had been going on for 30 years ended. According to the terms of this treaty, Israel returned the Sinai Peninsula to Egypt, freeing it from its occupation. Also, Egypt recognized the existence of Israel. 1982 Lebanon War. Israel invaded Lebanon with the aim of eliminating the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, and captured the Lebanese capital Beirut. With the Israeli army occupying Beirut, the PLO was forced to evacuate the city. After this, Israel decided to withdraw from Lebanon and the war ended. 2006 Lebanon War. Hezbollah launched a rocket attack on Israel. Along with this, 2 soldiers of the Israeli army were also captured. Actually, Hezbollah is a Shia political and paramilitary organization of Lebanon. To free the soldiers, Israel attacked southern Lebanon. Nearly 1,000 Lebanese were killed in the 34-day war, while another million were displaced. However, with the ceasefire, the Israeli forces withdraw. It should be noted that in 2006, Hamas completely captured the Gaza Strip, and at the end of 2007, Israel imposed several restrictions on the Gaza Strip. Palestinians living in the Gaza Strip were angered by Israel's restrictions and protested against it, but Israel imposed further restrictions on Gaza after the attacks in January 2008. The Israel-Palestine conflict is one of the most complex and sensitive issues in the world. Due to this dispute, both sides had to face violence, displacement, and suffering. Both Israelis and Palestinians have deep historical and cultural ties to this land, and both have their own grievances. Gaza Strip targets were targeted. The Israeli army attacked several targets in the Gaza Strip. Sirens warning of airstrikes can be heard in Jerusalem after Hamas announced a new military campaign against Israel. Israel has activated the anti-rocket system. Earlier, Hamas claimed that it had fired more than 5,000 rockets into Israel,